Hey gamers, today we're going to review Rockwell. Let's check it out. Setup for the game is a little extensive, but let's go through this. First off, you put the board together by shuffling all these tiles here and putting the 3s and 4s, 5s and 6s, 7s and 8s, 9s and 10s in the center right there. One production issue I have with this, these are all female ends. They don't interconnect, and they gave you these little things to connect them, but they were too big and they won't fit in these little holes, so I have no way to connect the board. That is a shame because it's a really awesome idea, but unfortunately terrible production on that. Anyway, everyone has a number 1 starting in each of the 4 mine shafts, as you see here. You're going to shuffle all these little mine shaft cards by their number up there and leave them over to the side. You're going to have your board set up here, put your three-sided die up here in the little areas. The turn player order will be here. You'll put these little bribe tokens here. You'll have the little orange counter starting at here, which will tell you how the gameplay goes. Here, of course, these boards are listed 1, 2, and 3, and of course you want to have them on the 3 to 4 player side. There is a 2-player side for all of these. And then you want to stack each one of these goods by their color and the number. So it would start off with a 2 and go all the way to 8, and you would do that for all 4 crates there. Everyone else gets their pieces. They'll have only 2 pawns. They'll have elevator shafts and insurance tokens. Again, you need to look on the token there to see if it says 2 to 4 players, because they are different. So make sure those are on there. And for right now, I don't know what you're supposed to put here, but we just put a number 3 here. When you upgrade one of these to a number 3, you can just put one of your old 1s and 2s here, because that's going to be important, because this kind of dictates how you can move. You're also going to have all your end goals here. You put them all out in a 4-player game, and of course you start taking one away every time you take away players. So for a 2-player game, there'll be 2 of each one of these, but there's 9 total, and you'll have them somewhere over the side of the board. You'll also have these insurance tokens as well that you'll keep over to the side. So how the game is played is very simple. First off, what you're going to do is you're going to have these 2 little workers here, and you're going to place them anywhere on the board. Now, there is a rule though. If you put one in one area, you cannot put another one in that same area. So I couldn't do this action twice if I wanted to, or if I was on the lesser squares, couldn't do that. I would have to play in one of the 3 different boards. So I could play here, here, or down here. Even here and here would not be allowed, even though they're 2 separate actions. So everyone places their workers on the board, and then you resolve from top down. This is a very straightforward game. First off, what are bribes? People who park here can get these bribe tokens, and what that does, it allows them to move any other player's worker on the square or tile of their choice. Now that could be very important in this game, and you'll see why in a minute. But those are bribe tokens. Also, this also determines the player order, where you go. A new player order, you'll have 4 cubes up here actually, that will reset the player order for the next round. Over here, these are extra contract workers. 3-sided die, you do not roll these. You put them at 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on what their power is. And their power is wherever you have them. The deeper you go into the core, the stronger the power they'll be. They'll add maybe a 1 to one of the outer rim numbers, or a 2, or a 3, or a power of 4 over there. These workers cost 1,500 if you're using them for the first ring, and then you go up 500 each time. So 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. Oh no, I think it's 1,000, 1,500. 2,000 and 2,500 is the biggest you can spend on those. But you can buy obviously up to 3 if you wanted them. Now, after that's done and the player orders track will reset according to this, then you're going to play this actual board here following this orange marker. First it says, hey, who wants to buy some temporary insurance? Temporary insurance costs a cube, any of your cubes. Usually you pay the blue cubes because those are the cheapest ones, but you buy as many of these as you want because they may come in handy in the game. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Then after that, it says, hey, you'll go through 4 turns of people. Everyone's going to be moving one of their people, and maybe the same one twice if they wanted to here. So for instance, on one move, white could go there, and then the next move, they could go there if they wanted to. On all 4 of their moves, if they wanted to keep moving up. That'd be kind of dumb. But anyway, how it works is that as players are moving around this board, and they have an option. Now I just realized I set the board a little bit off here. You need to make sure that these mine shafts are on 1 or 2, touching both of them, because you have these arrows say, hey, do you want to go to the 3 or the 4? They have choices at first. Everyone should have choices. Anyway, so they're all bringing out their characters wherever they want to go, and whenever you get one that equals, like there's 1, 2, 3 here, and that's the number 3. Whenever you get one, stop and turn that tile over. Now, whoever has majority here would get the leftover goods. And I'll explain what that means. So like if this is what it was right here, then green would be the leader and they get the lion's share of whatever was underneath there. However, if it was a three-way tie or just a tie period, let's say both red and purple are 2 and it's a 4. Well, who gets it here? Well, the person who moved on that tile last, they will be the head miner and they'll get the bonus rewards. So let's flip this over and just kind of show you what I mean. First off, we flip it over. This means nothing. It means nothing as what you're getting in the game. This is for something else I'll speak about later. But anyway, so you flip it over and now you're ready to take, that's a number 4 tile, so I'll take a number 4 card and I'll flip it over. Now we have to divide these evenly if we can. So 4, that means each of these players will get 2 zinc each. There are 3 copper in this mine, which means, oh, you can't split up evenly. So red, since they're the lead, they'll get 2, purple will get 1. And since silver only has 3, again, red gets 2, purple gets 1. So it's good to be the leader or have majority in these mine shafts as they're being uncovered. You're going to get more stuff. Now, if ever a card had something like this attached to it at the end, then what that means, it means there's been a cave-in, and hopefully you bought one of these insurances. If you did not, you're going to lose all of your most precious one, which this one's a gold, so you would miss out on a gold. However, if it was, I don't know if there's, yeah, here, this one, it'd be 3 gold because it's the most, the biggest one you've got. And that's all miners in there, unless they pay some of this mining insurance here. Now, after that's over, whoever was lead on that mine shaft will keep this card because there is a goal here of obtaining 6 of these mine cards first. After that, play continues until everyone has done their movement, and then you count any elevator shaft bonuses. Elevator shaft bonuses can be bought down here in the row, so on the first round there will be none. But let's say that green had bought a shaft here, that if they had one here, then they would get the resource printed on the tile. And so you're going to have people getting resources in and out. Also, if they had an elevator shaft in an area that wasn't uncovered yet, and it did get uncovered, and if it was green's shaft, then green would have majority regardless of who all they have on there. So mine shafts can give you automatic majority if it hasn't been revealed yet. So that's some of the power of mine shafts, and I'll get back to mine shafts in a minute. Anyway, once that round's done, then anyone who played in these areas here will get to exchange. They'll either get to buy or sell for each one of the resources. First player gets 4 actions, second player gets 3 actions, third player gets only 2 actions. There is no fourth here. So, for instance, maybe I want to sell all my zinc, and I got 4 zinc. So 4 zinc times 4 is $1,600. I got $1,600. Now, on my next turn, could I buy some zinc? No, I could not because I sold it. You can either sell or buy each round. So maybe I use that money to buy some more silver or whatnot. So now silver's off. And maybe I sell the copper and then buy gold, and that's on my turns there for the first player. That's kind of how it goes. You're buying and selling on that market. Then it goes down here, and of course, first player gets the most action, 4 actions. Everyone else gets 3, 2, and 1 action of any of these. They can fulfill one of these contracts or do something to upgrade their player board. Now, the contracts are very easy. What you're going to do, starting with the number 2, these stars count for victory points. If I gave in 2 blue zinc, I could claim this for 1 victory point. That's easy, but as you see, the next one's a little bit harder. Now, on my second action, I could do this if I had more zinc, 3 zinc for 1 victory point. And it keeps going 4, 5, 6, 7. So it gets harder. They're easy points at first, but as you're digging in the mines, getting more cubes, these will make it a little bit harder. By the way, there are these bigger cubes. I think they represent like 5 of a resource, just in case you start running out of cubes, which can happen in a 4-player game. So you'll kind of need those big cubes. Anyway, so fulfilling contracts, 1 contract is an action. So if I was first player, I could complete 1 of each, and that'd be my turn. But there are other things you can do. This is upgrading the player board here. You can take this action. What does this action do? This upgrades one of your players. And I love this because on your player board, it tells you how much each one to upgrade them are. So to upgrade one of these 1s to a level 2 would cost $1,500. To upgrade them to a level 3, $2,500. And to upgrade them to a 4, $3,500. Now you couldn't skip from a 1 to a 4. You have to upgrade them in that order, and each one takes an action. So if I was second player, that'd be 1, 2, 3 actions. That'd be all my actions to take a 1 to a 4, and it'd be very expensive. But if that happens, you flip it over to a 2, or if it's a 2 to a 3, then you just bring your 3 in there and just remove your 2. Other things you can do is buy elevator shafts, and again, I love it because right here on each one, it tells you how much they are. You have to buy the first one, then second and third. First one says, hey, has a question mark. This has to go on a tile that has your pawn on it or your worker on it, but hasn't yet been revealed. This one says you can put it on any open tile that has been revealed. And then the last one says, hey, you can put it anywhere. On a revealed tile or on one of these other good tiles you think are really good, well, you don't even have to be on it. So any tile you want. And again, these will generate resources at the end of every round. So they're really good to have. Another thing you can get is permanent insurance. Right now you have none, but instead of spending cubes, you can spend cash and upgrade it to where, hey, from now on when a mine collapse happens, I'll only lose 1 cube. Or, no, I'll save 1 cube and lose the rest. Or I'll save 3 cubes and lose the rest. Or I'll never lose any cubes. Everything is safe. So you don't have to spend any more cubes to get this temporary insurance. You can have more permanent insurance that way. Now all those are great. There's another one here that improves your movement. And again, that's why you need something right here to kind of mark the movement here. But right here, for the prices are done here, you can move either up or down once or to the side over. So for instance, white could go 1, 2 on their turn if they had upgraded movement. Here, what this means is, hey, they can also attach to the side. So let's say a white had it and they went 1. But they wanted to attach on the edge here. So they'd be on the edge, which means they count for this 3 and this 4. So if either one gets revealed, they're going to get a piece of the pie. Then finally, the big one lets you move 2. 2 up, 2 back, 2 across, and 2. You can't do a 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't do that. You either move up or back or over twice. So it just gives you a more free range of movement. Again, you have to pay for any of those upgrades. Now, at any time that you have achieved one of these goals here, you can, in some cases you may have to reveal the cubes. All these are behind a player shield that has nothing written on the back, which I'll complain about later. But anyway, they're all behind a player shield. You have to remove them from your player shield if you want to and take one of these rewards here. Now when you do, you just put those little clipboards over to your side here. I like this because it tells you which ones you have yet to achieve. You can only achieve each one once. Now for instance, like the you must have 12 gold. Do I spend it? No, I just must have it and have to show it to people. And of course the top one will have the most victory points where the bottom one will have the least amount. All right. So anyway, what you're doing is you keep moving through the tunnels, revealing things, going through the phases, up and down again, restart and reset again. After the game is over, it'll end in 2 ways. One, if someone has collected 6 of these 9 in-game points, or a majority of people have jumped into the sun. So if 3 out of the 4 players have jumped into the sun, why would they do that? Because that's actually one of the goals there. So if they've done that, then the game is over. Either way, then you're going to add up all of your points from any of these that you got, these little rewards here, the little contracts, and any in-game points. Whoops, forgot to mention that you also see who has the most left over of their resources of each group here. So of the gold, silver, copper, and zinc. And the first player of each of these would get 2 points. Second place would get 1. If there's a tie, they'll just split it and there will be no second place. But anyway, that's the game. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, let's get to the cons, because there are a few. First off, production. That board not having those connectors. I don't know how I'm going to connect this. Maybe I could try to recut them, but I'm not that special. I can't do that. Maybe it was just my copy, but either way, that's pretty crappy. Another thing I don't like is the blue die, the workers. Everything else is wonderful in how it tells you how much it costs, but the blue workers, you have to look that up in the rule book. I mean, they could have at least printed it on the board. And this is a shame because they really did a good job telling you what everything cost on your own player board, but that one they didn't. And then there's an empty player shield, a blank player shield. You could have put the turn order there. You could have reminded them what some of these things do, what the temporary workers do. You could have put the price there if you wanted to behind that player shield, but it's just blank. So those are the cons. Pros, everything else. It's a really fun game. There is a lot of strategy involved, where you're going to place it, when you're going to place it. The bribes are important. The contractors are important. Every space is really important. And me and my nephew played this, the first game we played, me and my nephew played, and of course he is all about upgrading. And he made massive upgrades. He would just spend all his money on upgrades. Meanwhile, I was doing that for a little while, then I realized, wait a minute, there's a lot of quick points to get. So I started scoring tons of points. Well, after a while, he was so powerful, he started getting tons of points. But I still was able to beat him by about, I think it was 4 victory points, because it's not about just getting all your upgrades. While you're doing that, other people are snatching up those easy points, and those easy points can be the deciding factor. Because I was able to catch up with him in upgrades eventually, and we evened it out. Of course, I came up ahead because I got some of the low-hanging fruit where he had to go for some of the harder goals there. The game is fun. The game plays quick. It's not that hard. I like the insurance thing. I don't think there's a single thing you could waste your money on. My nephew was the only one, actually, in any of our game groups who have accessed the moves, but that did help him a lot. I just haven't updated my move marker. Not many other people in my gaming group have done that, except for him. And it is a benefit. I can definitely see where it's a benefit. There's just so many other things you want to get, like those shafts, to get that income, to get the insurance so you won't have to be paying precious cubes. A lot of replayability too, because you can always shuffle the tiles differently and the cards differently. I don't know. I really like the game. Awesome, awesome, awesome. A buddy of mine who watches the channel, he and I have the same taste, and he gave me a list of games, and this is one that hit my list. And again, sir, again, you are correct. Excellent game. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time.